You know, when I look around today, I see something interesting. I see millions of people waking up every morning, checking their phones, looking at what everyone else is doing, and feeling small, feeling behind, feeling like they're not enough. Society tells you get this job, buy this house, look like this, achieve success by this age. And if you don't, you're failing. Let me tell you something. This is garbage. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you made a decision that was truly yours? Not what your parents wanted. Not what your friends expected. Not what society told you was the right choice. When was the last time you did something purely because you wanted to do it, without worrying about what anyone would think? For most people, the answer is uncomfortable. Because most people have been carrying an invisible weight their entire lives, and they don't even realize it's there. This weight, this invisible burden, it's called societal pressure. And it starts the moment you're born. Your parents have expectations. Your teachers have expectations. Your community has expectations. By the time you're a teenager, you've already been told 1,000 times who you should be, what you should want, how you should live. Go to university, get a prestigious job, make a lot of money, get married by this age, buy a house, have children, follow the script, stay in line, don't make waves, don't embarrass the family, don't risk failure, play it safe. And here's what happens: you spend your entire life running on a hamster wheel that you never chose to step on. You're chasing goals that aren't even yours. You're stressed about meeting deadlines for a life you didn't design. You're exhausted trying to become someone that other people decided you should be. And the worst part, you can't even stop and rest, because the moment you slow down, the moment you question if this is what you really want, society reminds you everyone else is doing it, so you should too. Everyone else is succeeding at this, so why can't you? What's wrong with you? Nothing is wrong with you. What's wrong is the system. What's wrong is that we've built a world where people are valued based on how well they conform, not on how authentically they live, where success is defined by external markers like job titles and bank accounts, not by internal measures like fulfillment and purpose, where you're supposed to look happy even when you're miserable inside, because admitting struggle means admitting failure. I talk to people all the time in 2026 who have everything society told them to get. Good job, nice salary, respectable life. And they're empty. They're depressed. They wake up every day wondering, is this all there is? Because they followed the map that society gave them, and the map led them to a destination they never actually wanted to reach. They climbed the ladder successfully, only to realize the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall the entire time. This invisible weight of expectation, it's crushing people. It's making them afraid to try new things, afraid to fail publicly, afraid to disappoint others, afraid to look foolish, afraid to be themselves. And this fear, this constant pressure to meet everyone else's standards, it's preventing millions of people from ever discovering what they're truly capable of becoming. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the floor, you reach for your phone. You scroll through social media, and what do you see? Your friend got promoted. Your classmate bought a new car. Someone from high school is getting married. Someone else is traveling to an exotic place. Everyone is winning. Everyone is successful. Everyone is happy. Everyone is living their best life. And you look at your own life, and suddenly it feels small. It feels insignificant. It feels like you're falling behind in a race you didn't even know you were running. This is the comparison trap, and it's destroying an entire generation in 2026. Never in human history have people been exposed to so many highlight reels of other people's lives. Your ancestors, they compared themselves to maybe 20, 30 people in their village. That was it. But you're comparing yourself to millions of people every single day, and it's not even real comparison. You're comparing your behind the scenes reality with everyone else's carefully edited performance. Let me tell you what nobody shows you on social media. They don't show you the rejection letters. They don't show you the anxiety attacks at 3 in the morning. They don't show you the credit card debt behind that vacation photo. They don't show you the failing relationship behind that perfect couple picture. They don't show you the 10 failed attempts before the one success they posted about. Everyone is performing. everyone is pretending. And you're sitting there thinking everyone has it figured out except you. This comparison trap is so dangerous because it makes you measure your worth based on other people's achievements. You stop asking, "Am I growing?" and start asking, "Am I winning compared to them?" And this question will destroy you because there will always be someone ahead of you. Always. Someone richer, someone more successful, someone more attractive, someone with more followers, more likes, more everything. The comparison game is unwinnable by design. I see young people especially, they're paralyzed by this. They won't start a business because someone else already did it better. They won't create content because someone else has more followers. They won't try something new because what if they're not immediately as good as the experts? They've turned their entire life into a performance for an audience that doesn't actually care about them. And in trying to keep up with everyone else, they've completely lost touch with who they actually are and what they actually want. The trap gets even worse because social media algorithms are designed to show you people who are slightly ahead of you. Not completely unreachable, but just ahead enough to make you feel inadequate. Just successful enough to make you think, why not me? This keeps you hooked, keeps you scrolling, keeps you comparing, keeps you consuming instead of creating, keeps you watching other people's lives instead of building your own. Look around you right now in 2026. What do you see? You see people exhausted. You see people anxious. You see people working harder than ever, but feeling more empty than ever. They're playing a game that was designed decades ago, maybe centuries ago. Go to school, get good grades, get a stable job, work for 40 years, retire, die. This was the game. This was the promise. And for a long time, it worked for some people. But not anymore. The world has changed completely, but most people are still following the old rule book. They're still chasing the same markers of success their grandparents chased. The corner office, the fancy title, the big house in the suburbs, the expensive car, and they're miserable because deep down they know something is wrong. They know they're living someone else's dream, not their own. They know the game is rigged, and even if they win, the prize isn't what they actually want. This is why 2026 demands a revolutionary shift in thinking. Not a small adjustment, not a little tweak to your routine. I'm talking about a complete transformation in how you see yourself and your life. You need to stop playing society's game entirely. Stop trying to win at a game where the rules are designed to keep you running in circles forever. Stop measuring your worth by standards that were created to benefit a system, not you as an individual human being. What does this revolutionary shift look like? It means you wake up tomorrow and ask yourself a completely different question. Not what does society want from me, but what do I want to become? Not how do I impress people, but how do I improve myself? Not am I successful by their standards, but am I growing by my own standards? This sounds simple, but it's the hardest thing most people will ever do because it requires you to let go of the need for approval. When you make this shift, when you truly make it, something incredible happens. The pressure lifts, not because life gets easier, but because you're no longer carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations. You're playing your own game now. You're competing against your own potential. You're building a life that actually means something to you, not a life that looks good in photographs. Society will not celebrate this shift at first. Your family might not understand. Your friends might think you're crazy. Strangers online might criticize you. Because when you stop playing their game, you're threatening the system. You're showing everyone else that there's another way. And that makes people uncomfortable. They want you to stay in line, to follow the rules, to validate their own choices by making the same choices they made. But here's the truth. The people who change the world are always the ones who refuse to play the game everyone else was playing. They created new rules. They defined success differently. They chose improvement over approval, growth over comfort, authenticity over performance. You know, everybody today wants the big breakthrough. They want to wake up tomorrow and suddenly be successful, suddenly be rich, suddenly be recognized. They watch these stories on social media about overnight success, and they think that's how it works. Let me tell you something, it's a lie. Every overnight success took 10 years. Every sudden breakthrough came after 1,000 small, Boring, unglamorous steps that nobody saw. This is what I call the small wins philosophy, and it's the most underestimated secret of success in 2026. People ignore it because it's not sexy. It doesn't make for good content. You can't post about it and get likes. But it's the only thing that actually works. Think about it this way. If you improve yourself by just 1% today, just one tiny percent, you don't feel different. You look in the mirror, you're the same person. Your bank account is the same. Your life looks identical. So most people say, see, it doesn't work. I tried, and they quit. But here's what they don't understand. If you improve 1% every single day for a year, you're not 1% better at the end. You're 37 times better. That's mathematics. That's compound growth. That's how you actually transform your life. But society doesn't teach you this. Society teaches you to make huge dramatic changes. Join a gym and work out 3 hours every day. Start a business and work 20-hour days. Read 50 books this month. And what happens? You burn out. You fail. You quit. And then you feel worse than before because now you've proven to yourself that you can't do it. This is the trap. Small wins are different. Small wins are sustainable. You want to get healthy. Don't try to become an athlete tomorrow. Just drink 1 more glass of water today. That's it. Do 10 push-ups. Walk for 15 minutes. These things sound stupid, right? They sound too small to matter. But that's exactly why they work. They're so small you can't fail. They're so easy you have no excuse. And when you do them every day, they become automatic. They become who you are. I see young people especially, they want to change everything at once. They want the perfect career, perfect body, perfect relationship, perfect life, all right now. And the pressure to have it all immediately crushes them. They try to climb the entire mountain in one jump, and when they can't, they give up completely. But if you just take 1 step today and another step tomorrow and keep taking steps, you'll look back 6 months from now and realize you've climbed higher than you ever imagined. The beautiful thing about small wins is that they build momentum. Each small victory gives you confidence for the next one. Each day you keep your promise to yourself, you trust yourself a little more. And that trust, that confidence, that's what separates people who achieve their dreams from people who just talk about them. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's the discipline to show up and take the small win every single day, even when nobody's watching, even when it feels like it doesn't matter. You know what's interesting? In 2026, failure has become more shameful than ever before. Social media shows everyone winning all the time. Nobody posts their rejections. Nobody shares their embarrassing moments. Nobody talks about the business that collapsed or the project that failed completely. So young people today, they're terrified of failure. They won't try anything unless they're guaranteed to succeed. And this fear, this need for perfection, it's killing more potential than anything else. Let me tell you something about failure that nobody wants to hear. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your fuel. Every single successful person you admire has failed more times than you've even tried. The difference is they didn't stop. They didn't see failure as a reason to quit. They saw it as information, as education, as the raw material for building something stronger. When I failed, and I failed many times, people laughed. They said, "See, I told you it wouldn't work. You should have listened to us." And in those moments, it hurts. I'm not going to lie to you and say failure doesn't hurt. It does. It's painful. It's humiliating. You question yourself. You wonder if everyone was right and you were wrong. But here's what I learned. Every failure was teaching me something that success never could. Success teaches you what works. Failure teaches you what doesn't work, and more importantly, it teaches you about yourself. Failure teaches you if you have courage. It teaches you if you really want what you say you want, or if you just like the idea of it. Failure reveals your character. When everything is going well, everyone looks strong. But when you fail, when you're on the ground and everyone is watching, that's when you discover who you really are. And if you get up, if you learn from it and try again differently, you become someone that failure cannot stop. And let me tell you, someone that failure cannot stop is unstoppable in every way that matters. The problem is, society has conditioned you to avoid failure at all costs. School punishes failure. Your parents fear your failure. Your friends judge your failure. So you play it safe. You take the secure job, you follow the proven path, you never risk looking foolish. And you know what happens. You live a small life, a safe life, a life where you never discover what you're truly capable of because you never tested your limits. But in 2026, the people who will win are the people who fail fast and learn faster. They try something, it doesn't work, they adjust and try again. They get rejected, they improve their approach and try again. They fall down, they analyze what happened, and they get back up smarter than before. Each failure makes them more resilient, more knowledgeable, more experienced. While everyone else is paralyzed by the fear of failure, these people are building an unfair advantage through their willingness to fail repeatedly until they succeed. In 2026, everyone wants everything right now. You order food, it arrives in 20 minutes. You want entertainment, you click a button and watch anything instantly. You want answers, you ask your phone and get them in 2 seconds. This has trained people's brains to expect instant results in everything, including success. And this, my friends, is destroying more dreams than any other force in the world today. I see it everywhere. Someone starts a business and expects to be profitable in 3 months. Someone starts learning a skill and gets frustrated after 2 weeks because they're not an expert yet. Someone works hard for 6 months, and when they don't see massive results, they quit and try something else. Then they quit that too. They keep jumping from thing to thing, chasing the quick win, never staying long enough to see the real magic happen. Let me tell you about patience. Real patience. Not the kind where you sit around and wait for luck. I'm talking about the patience to keep working when you can't see results yet. The patience to plant seeds today knowing you won't eat the fruit for 5 years. This is what I call the long game mindset, and it's the rarest and most valuable quality you can develop. When I started, nobody believed in what I was doing. Not for 1 year, not for 2 years, not even for 5 years. People thought I was crazy. They thought I was wasting my time. And honestly, there were many days I looked at what I was building and couldn't see it either. The results were so small. The progress was so slow. Every logical voice in my head said, quit, try something easier, go get a normal job. But something inside me understood that great things take time. Not because the universe is testing you, but because real transformation requires deep roots, and roots grow slowly in the dark where nobody can see them. You know what happens when you commit to the long game? 2 things. First, most of your competition disappears. They get bored, they get distracted, they chase the next shiny opportunity. After 1 year, half of them are gone. After 3 years, 90% are gone. After 5 years, you look around and realize you're one of the last people still standing. Not because you're more talented, but because you stayed. Second thing that happens, compound growth kicks in. Remember what I said about 1% improvement every day? That doesn't show results in week 1. It barely shows results in month 3. But in year 2, year 3, the growth becomes exponential. Suddenly opportunities appear. Suddenly people notice you. Suddenly things that were impossible become possible. But only if you stayed long enough to see it. The world in 2026 is full of people starting things. What the world desperately needs is people who finish things. People who commit to something meaningful and stay with it long enough to see it through. Not because it's easy, but because they understand that anything worth having requires time, and time is the one investment most people refuse to make. Here's something nobody wants to admit. Most people are living their entire lives trying to impress people they don't even like. They make decisions based on what their parents will think, what their friends will say, what strangers on the internet will comment. They choose careers they hate because it sounds impressive at dinner parties. They buy things they can't afford to look successful. They hide their real dreams because someone might laugh. This is a tragedy, and it's happening to millions of people right now in 2026. I want to talk about something that changed my life completely. It's what I call the internal scoreboard. Most people keep score based on external validation. How many people liked their post? Did they get promoted? Did someone compliment them? Are they making more money than their classmates? This external scoreboard runs their entire life. And the problem is, you can never win this game. There's always someone richer, someone more successful, someone with more followers, someone with a bigger house. The external scoreboard guarantees you'll feel inadequate forever. But when you switch to an internal scoreboard, everything changes. An internal scoreboard means you measure success by your own growth. Are you braver than you were last month? Did you learn something new this week? Did you overcome a fear today? Are you becoming the person you want to become? These are the only questions that matter. These are the only measurements that give you real satisfaction. When I was getting rejected by everyone, when people were laughing at my ideas, I had to make a choice. I could let their rejection define me, or I could define myself. I chose to keep my own scoreboard. Every day I asked myself, did I try my best today? Did I learn from my mistakes? Am I moving forward? And some days the answer was yes, some days it was no. But it was my answer, not my critics' answer. Mine. This is so powerful because it makes you free. When you stop needing external validation, when you stop caring if people approve of your choices, you can finally take real risks. You can finally pursue what actually matters to you instead of what looks good to others. You can fail in public and not be destroyed by it because your scoreboard says failure is just data, just learning, just part of the process. I see too many talented people trapped in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, lives that feel empty, all because they're terrified of what people will think if they make a change. They're slaves to the external scoreboard. But the people who win, the people who build extraordinary lives, they stopped checking the external scoreboard years ago. They keep their own score. They measure themselves against their own potential, not against someone else's highlight reel. And that internal scoreboard gives them a peace and confidence that external success can never provide. Listen carefully because what I'm about to tell you is important. Right now, in 2026, we're standing at a very specific moment in history. This isn't just another year. This is a dividing line. On one side, you have people who will continue doing what they've always done, complaining about the system, blaming circumstances, waiting for things to get easier. On the other side, you have people who understand that chaos creates opportunity, and they're going to use this moment to separate themselves from everyone else. Why is 2026 special? Because the gap is widening. Technology is accelerating faster than ever. Artificial intelligence is changing every industry. The old rules about careers and success are dying. Traditional paths are disappearing. And this terrifies most people. They see change and they freeze. They see uncertainty and they hide. They want to wait until things stabilize, until the future becomes clear. But here's what they don't understand. By the time things stabilize, the opportunity is gone. The people who moved early, who adapted fast, who improved relentlessly while everyone else was paralyzed, those people will be so far ahead that catching up becomes almost impossible. I've seen this pattern many times in my life. Every major transition creates two groups. The group that complains about how unfair everything is, and the group that asks, how can I use this? The complainers stay stuck. The adapters become the next generation of success stories. And right now, in 2026, most people are choosing to be complainers. They're overwhelmed by information. They're distracted by entertainment. They're paralyzed by options. They're using technology to escape reality instead of to build their future. This is your advantage. While everyone else is scrolling, you're learning. While everyone else is complaining about AI taking jobs, you're learning how to use AI to multiply your capabilities. While everyone else is waiting for permission, you're taking action. While everyone else is trying to preserve the old world, you're building skills for the new one. The distance you can create between yourself and the average person right now is massive, but only if you choose to move. Think about this 5 years from now. In 2031, there will be two types of people. Those who spent 2026 through 2030 consuming and complaining, and those who spent those years building and improving. The difference between these two groups will be so dramatic that they'll barely recognize each other. One group will still be stuck in the same place, blaming the economy, blaming technology, blaming everything except themselves. The other group will have transformed completely, not because they were lucky, but because they made a choice in 2026 to commit to relentless self-improvement regardless of what anyone else was doing. This moment won't last forever. Windows of opportunity open and close. The question is simple: when you look back at 2026 5 years from now, will you remember it as the year you decided to become unstoppable, or the year you let fear and societal pressure keep you exactly where you were?